hospital or many others, which are all around affordability. And these business models will have total relevance for countries in Africa and the rest of Asia. The high cost US healthcare delivery model cannot be replicated anywhere in the world because no other country can afford the cost. So more and more Asian and African countries are going to look at India for business models that are affordable. I'm sure that the eminent panel will share their vast experience and tell us what it will take to make India into a global hub. I want to leave a few suggestions behind. I feel that we need to inculcate the culture of innovation from very early, from the school stage. Because it is important to inculcate experimentation and exploration, which is missing from our curriculum and our school pedagogy. So we need to encourage children by holding quizzes, contests, awards, recognition, because this will then bring about change in the mindset from learning by rote to learning by doing to learning by observing. And that is the whole ethos of innovation. And this will also encourage to ignite the spirit of inquiry amongst children. Thereafter, when it comes to the college stage, I'm so happy to know that you have a rural immersion program. Because when you actually go and live or spend time in the villages, you then understand and appreciate their real problems. Sitting from a distance reading in a textbook doesn't tell you that. And also it doesn't create that empathy and that connect with the people. So that is something which we have to do more and more at campuses and do what we take in the lead. Now, the kind of products that GE and others are now innovating are at a fraction of the cost of what they will be selling in the US. If you take the example of the ultrasound machine, the typical price is $100,000. They've innovated a low resolution ultrasound machine in China, which they are now marketing at $15,000. So from $100,000 they've come down to $15,000. And some of the innovations they've done in that is that a typical ultrasound machine has a big high resolution screen, which they've done away with, and they get the image directly onto the laptop computer, right, onto the laptop, which is a low resolution image. But these machines are not used in hospitals in the US. These are used for accident cases in ambulances, so that you can at least know what is the level of internal damage in an accident case. Now, this is what Jeff Immelt of GE and Vijay Gopurajan of Tata Business School and Vijay is a dear friend, they call this reverse innovation. That you innovate in countries like India and China, where the wages or the salaries of engineers are much lower, and therefore you can bring out innovation at a much lower cost. But, which is great. But I've gone a stage further, and I've written this in my book. What they call reverse innovation, I've introduced the concept of forward innovation. Forward innovation means innovating for your own masses. Since we have this population of 600 million people who will have the purchasing power in the next few years, so we should be innovating products for our people, because that will create more manufacturing jobs locally, that will add to the exchequer through excise duty, sales tax, and whatever else. So it is companies like the US, which have a much smaller population base, we can be looking at the reverse innovation. For us, this forward innovation to do things for our poor, that will be a much better concept. The second theme of the summit, and this is the last piece I want to say, the second theme of the summit, which is execution excellence. We all know that innovation is as good as its execution. Therefore, keep it most relevant, but in the Indian context, it is the least discussed, because we have great ideas and terrible at innovation and execution. The reason for this is simply because brainstorming sessions are fun, out-of-the-box thinking is invigorating, and getting a bright idea is, makes you a hero in the organization. So everybody is focused at this end of the innovation, which is the idea. It was, and then execution is boring, repetitive, you have to get into details. So that I'll give to somebody. I'll do the sexy part of creating the innovation and getting name and fame, and then somebody else does that hard work. It was Edison who said that genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. So without that perspiration, even Edison could not have created GE and all the innovations that he has done in his life. So successful innovation is not just about the idea. It is about the idea, plus the leader, plus the team, plus the plan, and plus the detail. So execution requires a lot more than that. So I would look forward eagerly to listening to the eminent speaker and building on this thought of how we will get into execution excellence. I just want to leave a thought about excellence. I've had a spiritual guru for 30 years, and when we used to go to the ashram, we were all expected to wash the dishes and clean the kitchen, and our wives were supposed to do the cooking. So when the guru used to sit down to have lunch, he would immediately pick up the plate and say that, Pradeep, when you were washing this plate, where was your awareness? And I don't understand. He said, if you had total awareness, then there would be no dirt on the plates, no food from early times still stuck on the plate. So the thought I want to leave behind is that excellence is equal to awareness. Total excellence is equal to total awareness. When we say, or when we look at or see a beautiful woman, we always say that God must have made her in His spare time. By that, what we mean is that when God had nothing else to do and there were no distractions, so He was able to create the perfect excellence. So, my last advice, if I may give it, is that if you want to execute excellence, then practice meditation and increase your self-awareness. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. Kashyap, for those enlightening words on not only the scope of business in rural India, but also your thoughts on the two topics for panel discussion today. Thank you very much. Speaking of the topics of the panel discussion, we now come to the business at hand. The very first panel discussion, which will be moderated by Professor Gopal Mahapatra, who is currently a visiting faculty, and he is currently enjoying with the company Oracle. So, without further ado, I would want Professor Mahapatra to come and first introduce the topics as well as the panelists.
Hello. Thank you, Pradeep Ji. Before I start up, I must acknowledge my guru who is here, Professor Vinathan. He was my teacher in my IIM days. Professor, I really want to acknowledge that it's a pleasure seeing him here. Of course, Professor Jalat Sahab and distinguished panelists, our dear friends. Before I start off, can I request my distinguished panel members to come? Devasish, Mr. Devasish Pora, CEO of Mr. Ganesh Ramchandran. I'm not going to define the biodata, I know it's long, and if we do that all 1.5 hours, 2 hours, we go for elaborating the partner Accenture Management Consulting. You already talked about 270. I think you will see this group growing into 400, and supply chain is happening, and India is doing more, and Ganesh is leading that. Mr. Kaushik Roy. I'll tell, time permitting, I'll tell a little story about each one of them, but more focus on the theme. Then I request Dr. Sudarshan, Mr. Sudarshan Jain. And as you are seeing, the distinguished panel members are coming into the dais, you can understand what I'm saying. Dr. Sudhakar Kutukuchi. The very easy English, no carrying coal to Newcastle. Familiar? Me anchoring the panel. I'm going to talk about innovation, which has been practiced very well. Thank you, Mr. Pradeep, for setting the context. First, before I hand over to the panel, I'll take a little bit of time so that I create the context building on Mr. Pradeep's idea. What does this place symbolize? What are the two top of the mind thoughts in the mind when you say this palace and the lake? Any quick comments? Sorry? Two dimensions, two questions come to your mind, two reflections. Royalty, hard work, dedication resulting in I think who was it? In the introduction it was said the Venice of the East. I think all the distinguished panel here who stayed yesterday night will say, yesterday evening I just had half an hour sat in the balcony. First time after long years, you get it in the deep forest, you get it here. So that is the place that has created this impact, not only on me, I think you can check with many other panelists. That's what, I don't know whether you noticed, I just checked 90 to 95% delegates or the customers here are foreign nationals, if not they're the NRIs. So this place has something which is the theme of the conference linked to. I just wanted you to keep in mind. Next one please. Any thoughts? What? Mic? iPod? Okay, technology, G. There you are. I think already Pradeep has mentioned about that. So that's the second thought in your mind. So what is innovation? Top two dimensions. I think already Pradeep has given context to that. In your mind, before the panel takes turn, what is two takeaways from this summit you want to carry on? Execution is following post-lunch. What is innovation? What are two thoughts in your mind that you want to carry forward? Your definition of innovation, your takeaways from innovation. Please keep that in mind. Go back. I think all of you already. I just, before coming last week, I got a very good mail from a nephew of mine. He's a professor of surgery in Cuttack Medical College, not in Harvard Medical College, not in Stanford Medical College. He's just in Cuttack. How many of you have known about Cuttack? I think infrastructure is a long way to go. Okay, whenever I go to my village, going to San Francisco, coming back is easier than going back to Cuttack. You know, please pardon me saying so. Going to New York coming is easier than going to Cuttack. That's tough how it is. He's a surgery professor. He said, Uncle, I want to share it. 535 cents me mail. So Uncle, I want to share with you one good news. I got awarded by Surgical Association for the best video presentation. You know what is it? Laparoscopy. How many of you know about laparoscopy? So I met this young professor, 45 years age. He said, Uncle, I want to tell you how I want to do it. Thanks to Pradeep ji. He said, I have a small clinic. His mother was the director of health. He says, I have a small clinic, 10-bedded hospital. My idea is people come from Bangladesh, Calcutta, rural parts of Bihar, Orissa. They should come. I do a laparoscopy operation. The patient's relatives sitting outside can see and experience. He had told me 3 years back he had come to St. John's Medical College. I said, his name is Dr. Sao. I said, call him Sikhan. He said, Sikhan, can you join me for dinner? Two things he told me. 2 years back, it hit my mind. I said, Uncle, that is my vision. Then lo and behold, 2 years down the line, he makes it happen and he gets awarded by the Orthopedic Association of India for the work for his best video presentation. So innovation can happen. What Pradeep is saying, are you there? Do you have a dream? You know, another thing he told me, he had injured himself. I went to visit him last 6 months. I gave him a video summary of what I think. Pradeep, he talked and I noticed or something. Gave him that video and came. During his sickness, he's lying down on the bed. He's seeing patients. I said, Sikhan, you need to look after yourself. What will I do sitting idle? I keep on working on my patients. I said, Sir, Uncle, can you please wait? This person has come from Calcutta and he missed the train. I know, I spent the whole night with you. Let me respond to the customer. I can't forget, many of you know about positive intelligence, positive psychology. That happened in West. Here, Dr. Devi Shetty, Dr. Sautar, many people are doing that, creating this innovation in our own land. Are you aware? He says, I can't sleep. The patient has gone through the operation and the work. Till the patient is cured, I can't sleep. And these are the guys who are getting awards. Even if they don't get award, they didn't work for award. So that is the innovation that is happening around. Now, without any clue, just see this. Can you guess? Next. Yeah. Any figures about Arvind, what sort of work they do? Any numbers? You know what age the person started, Dr. V? He started at the age of 60 after retirement from government. He has handicap. But I think Dr. V has created, he went to Ohio medical system and he talked, how big is the hospital, what is the size, what is the paraphernalia, what are the details. Some of the dear American friends laughed at me. Rest is history. Today, all over the world, people come to Arvind eye care systems to see what is the best of class innovation in eye care. So that is happening in our own country. Multiple centers. I think Damodaran is here. Some point of time we can talk more about him. Mr. Damodaran works in IIM, is from Madurai, so he can tell you the stories. You know what they do? They innovate. I think what you people do in the student as a work with immersion in the villages. To make sure if I get selected as a nursing student, I come with the background, I understand the commercial understanding. So innovation there. How many of you have learned by this? I used to study in Ranchi. I used to go from Bhubaneswar to Ranchi, checking train at Kharagpur. I remember all of us, one hand, one leg, and we were gone in trains overnight. I just remember that. So that was there 20 years back, 30 years back. Today, I'm told this system takes care of 40 to 50% mobility of people like you who can't get a plane ticket at a short notice, want to do short travel in a very professional way. Mr. Pradeep was talking about process, innovation of process through an attractive product. So this is another example here. So some thoughts. I want to leave you with some thoughts before I hand over to the esteemed panelists. The way we go ahead is I've taken 5-6 minutes. I'm going to, you'll just see the diversity of the panel. It's very tough job for me. So you can see where is my chair. I can just go take a siesta as I talk on. So each of the panel members, an expert in his area, having contributed, looked at innovation, made it happen, and reached where it is, not by accident, by contributions. Including, one of the panel members is to play cricket in Delta Plaza. My image of Delta Plaza is a restaurant, business complex, but 3 floors were there, half a floor the office and 2.5 floors they are playing cricket in the Delta Plaza. So they started innovation 20 years, 30 years back before even they got into the corporate sector or as they were working in the corporate sector. So the way you plan, please keep your antenna open. I will keep on doing bridging. We'll give us 6-7 minutes each of the panel members. Then I will try to do a little bit of gimmicks here to get them in the lot. Each one of you have questions towards them, including Mr. Pradeep ji. Please keep it towards the end, last 20 minutes. Is that okay? That's the broad plan. Students, it's for you as all of us listen. Okay? So it's a rare opportunity. I'll go back and I think presentations or all presentations are good. Yeah. I'm prompted that please go alphabetically so there is convenience. So may I request Devasis, he is the CEO from IIMU. Must tell you one thing about Devasis, very quiet. He says, I don't have a pedigree, but you will see the pedigree. I think he did work for India before he exported, after he exported. Can you believe that? I think early years of liberalization, 90s, he exported from India abroad before he took care of doing in the niche market in the domestic market. So over to Devasis. My request is 6-7 minutes and then pass it on.
Good morning. No reaction? Little louder? Yeah, that's it. Professor Dr. Janak Dave, all distinguished guests sitting over here, and today I am also like you. I have come here to learn, not to speak, although I have been asked to do. But honestly, I have come here. I have never gone to any IIM in my life. My wife says, why you are going on Saturday weekend to go to Udaipur? Do you have any girlfriend over there? You are so crazy to go there. I said, no, yes, I have a girlfriend. I had a dream to be one of the IIM, which I could not complete in my life. So trust me, I am like you. I have come here to learn from you and learn from other distinguished guests. When Dr. Mahapatra was speaking, I believe one idea of innovation came to my mind in the last 5 minutes. Mr. Mahapatra was showing something on the projector, and my colleague, my friend, Dr. Mr. Roy, he asked me, Devashish, what are you showing? So then I thought, would there have been a projector where both the sides, the same image would be visible, then we would have seen what he was trying to show the audience. So probably somebody would invent a new projector system where from the both sides the content is equally visible. So that's the lighter side. Let us go into the presentation. Before I talk, of course I know I have been given only 5 minutes. Please excuse me if I take 2 more minutes. Okay. I would like to show you one or two interesting video about the innovation. If you can switch off the slide. Yeah, start. Maybe there is some technical problem about the sound.
What's going on?
Innovation workshop.
And your job is?
Kick off the innovation agenda. Fire up the troops for innovation.
Hence the I.
I for ideation. I for incubation. I for invigoration.
I for implementation?
Oh, I knew I forgot something.
Yeah. Did you like the 2 videos? No sound. Yes. That's the confidence. Yeah. So let us go to the innovation. We have seen in both the videos how from the ancestral time the innovation has evolved. You see, we must distinguish between discovery and innovation. Now, in my own definition, any kind of discovery, be it the apple falling from the tree or Archimedes' Eureka, these are a kind of discovery which has taken place probably suddenly. But any innovation, I believe, is a result of a continuous effort and a process, which is most important. And that has to be done in a more organized manner. Let's go to the next slide. Just imagine there is a transparent toaster. You see, when you put that in the morning, the breakfast, the bread in the toast, many times it could be overlit. Just imagine if you had a toaster where we can see the bread from outside, how much reddish we want the toast. This would have been a very great idea of transparent toaster. The dynamic cantilever chair, the space economic chair folds onto itself for easy storage. We know all in our metro life, the space is becoming a big problem. So where to keep the stuff? So this is a kind of innovation, a very small innovation, but still it helps in your daily life. Go to a Chota Cool. The Godrej is printed and easy to use, energy efficient and battery operated refrigerator. It's compact and cheap. You know, in Indian village, the load shedding, the power cut. In that kind of situation, this kind of small refrigerator, even for the medical ground also, would be highly effective from innovation point of view. Dual screen laptop. Just imagine you are reading something just like a book or a newspaper. It is just like that. And this is typical Indian Jugaadu innovation. You see, that Mera Bharat Mahan is a typical example. Even a person in remote village of India can contribute to the innovation. Whatever funny manner, whatever Jugaadu manner. But innovation is innovation. He is protecting himself from sun, from the rain, and he is also taking some of his colleagues in the car. So it's a great combination car. Now, when these are certain images as a funny note, if you see how the innovation situation in India at present or globally. Now there is a 24/7 Indian BPO has developed a product called IIMS, which integrates their past customer data and predictive modeling. The basic theory here is when a customer calls to the call center, the computer predicts what kind of mood the customer is, considering the past time, how many times the customer had called to the call center, and considering his or her mood, the call is handled by concerned agents, not by random selection by the computer. Bharat Forge changed the workforce on the shop floor from blue collar to non-engineer to engineer. Tesco Hindustan Services developed an application software where people can buy the grocery online and pick up as per their own convenience. GE, I think we have mentioned here also. I am giving an example of GE's dual slice city imaging system. Tata Consultancy Services has developed a tool called computer-based functional literacy, which would make an illiterate individual read into 6 to 8 weeks. It costs just only 100 rupees. Go Dimension, run by 2 children of 10 and 12-year-old in Chennai, develops mobile application. Just imagine. Microsoft R&D activities in India are second only to the Redmond. Likewise, Oracle's strength in India is largest after Belmont, US headquarters. I'm right? Yeah. So these are certain examples that how the different segment of the pyramid, how people can be benefited from different ways of innovation. Now, let us talk about little bookish about what is innovation. Now, innovation is a successful exploitation of a new idea. It is a process, which Mr. Kashyap has also mentioned, that translates knowledge into economic growth and social well-being. No innovation could be called as a real innovation if it doesn't have any social interest in it. I think it's not only the innovation of Apple or iPad. We have to see how the innovation can be flowed to every segment of the society. Then only we as a country or a society can improve, can grow in our life. It's not, as he said, it's not the individual. It's a team game that is most important. Now, how do we measure the innovation? What are the indicators? Generally, we talk about how much investment in R&D the company is doing, What is the R&D expenditure or budget allocation in terms of our sales? How many patents filed in here, number of research papers, number of PhDs, so on and so forth. Innovation need not only to be a technological space. There are non-technological innovations also. We talk about new management techniques, that is also an innovation. New marketing techniques, that is also innovation. New supply or logistics arrangement, that is also an innovation. Improved approaches to internal and external communication and positioning of any company, that is also innovation. You see, about 12 years before, when Nokia mobile handset was launched in India, I believe, and the way they have grown in India in the next 5 years, it was a matter of case study in all business schools. But today, if you see the mobile phone industry, handset industry, maybe 1 out of 100 is buying Nokia phone. Everybody is going for Samsung or Sony or for other brands. I just thought one day, and one of my favorite brand was Nokia, that why it is so. And then I realized that in the last 5 years, Nokia has come up early with kind of innovative idea or handset or phone. So today, when everybody was, or a few years before, when everybody was talking about touch screen, Nokia remained in their digital manner. So I believe with the time of the passage of the time, innovation is also needed for the survival. And recently I read in the newspaper that Nokia has made loss in international business. So 10 years before, they were considered to be one of the success story, one of the main agenda of the business school as a case study, and today they are making loss. And I strongly feel that it's a lack of innovation, lack of innovative products to belong in the market. That is the reason. So innovation is needed even for the survival sometimes. Now, earlier mindset was innovation is expensive, it needs lots of funds, resources, so and so. Today we are talking about no, innovation brings simplicity. Okay. So I believe I have taken a little more time. Let us quickly go through the slides. I think you can just have a look. We can come back later on. Innovation is about happiness. Innovation about cashless, how we deal in the market. Innovation about 2D barcode. Nowadays, lots of new advertisements we see. The QR code. I must take 1 minute because when we are talking about India as an innovation hub, we must see what is the reality. In terms of researchers per million inhabitants, you see India is one of the lowest in terms of inhabitants. Next slide, in terms of research and development expenditure, also as a percentage of GDP, we are one of the lowest. In terms of patents filed, also we are not very significant information. In terms of scientific and technical journals, also we are also the lowest. So I believe these are the challenges today, and these are the ground reality. So I believe in today's session we will talk about how we cope up with these challenges, how we deal with these challenges, and how we take or how we make India as an innovation hub. Thank you.
You know the Ganesh background. One thing is that you specifically focus on his experience on innovation. Thanks to Devashish that his context are inside. So briefly about your context and your experience, we will bring you back again.
I noted the word briefly. Good afternoon, everybody. So, yeah, okay. So I'm going to talk about a few context settings. What is innovation? Innovation. There is a new normal. The normal, what they define now is there is nothing normal, and that is the new normal, which is loosely defined as permanent volatility. So in the world of permanent volatility, the only strategic imperative which can keep you afloat, if not prosper, is innovation. I don't want to talk about the example which is being shown. But innovation has many phases. Mr. Kashyap talked about 3 P's. Mahapatra talked about some elements of innovation. So we define it as
So the way we define it is can be technology innovation. We talked about Nokia, Samsung, iPhone. Product innovation. Japanese ensure the watermelons are conditioned in such a way it's easy for supply chain guys like you. If it is round, it's difficult to transport. Service innovation. I can give equivalent Indian examples. Jetta-based Taj service innovations. Operational innovations. Efficiency of operations. Tata Sky. I don't know how many of you use in terms of operational innovations. Cost structure innovation. Big Bazaar, the Indian equivalent example. Experience innovation. The feel, look and feel, or the kind of experience you have. Management innovation, the ITC, open market model for agriculture. Business model innovation. This is the place where India has not got solid credentials, but Zara is a retailer based out of Spain, and while every retailer takes around 4 months to launch a new product because it takes time to set it up, Zara brought it down to 2 to 3 weeks. So if you're feeling a sense of supply chain in everything I talk about, do ordering. And then there are industry innovations. Funny thing, this slide was made a year back. BlackBerry was in the industry innovation list. And today, it's not going because it's fighting for its survival. Now I need to change the whole way the slides are made because the version I have and the version here is different. So close this. Thank you. So the evolution of product development or innovation, Mr. Kashyap talked about, Professor Govindarajan. So he talks about the 4 stages, which is globalization, globalization, localization, reverse innovation. Let's take an example. McDonald's wants to expand into India, so they come and launch their products. That's globalization. They realize quickly that beef is a no-no, so remove the beef products. They make it localization. Then to ensure that they are competing with the Haldirams of the world, they introduce aloo tikki burger, and that's what we call localization. And the best part is they launched aloo tikki burger in US as an India flavor product, and that's reverse innovation. So this is an evolution of how things happen. I also noted Mr. Kashyap's point that let's not limit ourselves to reverse innovation, but forward innovation, and that's a dream. While in the services front, we have got quite a few Indian brand names established well abroad. TCS or Infosys, Wipro, Cognizant, Taj, Jetta-based. In the products front, till date, we don't have a single Indian product. Let's take South Korean, we have Samsung, Hyundai, LG. Chinese, we have Lenovo, Huawei. But from India, from a product way, which is specifically strong in a global context, is yet to be evolved. So, when we talked about the 4 quadrants, which is globalization, 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 and reverse innovation, we are doing well in localization, which is kind of frugal innovation, another term for it. I don't want to use the word jugaad because coming from South, jugaad means somehow to it. So I don't know why the word jugaad is used most of the times. But doing things right to champion the frugal innovation is some of the points he mentioned about the right ecosystem, seeking opportunity in adversity. Keep it simple. Include your margin. Example is Airtel. The pricing of Airtel for you is one of the best. It's evolved. Now Docomo came and followed in a different context. But pricing innovation is also an interesting element of it. But the imperative for India is now to go to the 4th quarter, which is the reverse innovation. So, need to be having products which are, I can give you a lot of examples of reverse innovation which are applicable to an African country or a fellow Asian country. But when I talk about reverse innovation, I talk about a product which can be used in a developed nation. So, examples of how the multinationals like GE have done using India as a target market, an Indian company has not done. And that's a fast-moving business as to the innovation. So, as a consultant, I can't end without providing a framework. Unfortunately, I don't have it here. But the 5 things we need to do it right to make India an innovation hub. One is doing right things. I mean, when we have an idea, is it a right idea? So having some kind of filtering mechanism to evaluate it. Second is, how do we accelerate the pace of innovation? Is there any way we can accelerate the pace by looking at front-loading quite a lot of things rather than waiting for long lead time to come to fruition. So some examples may be using a family of products to cut short the time. The third is efficiency. Can we have some modularization? Can we have some cost management structure to ensure that we are efficient in running this thing? And fourth is repeatability. Can we ensure that we have bill of material system or a system which enables you from design to after sales, including manufacturing. In all stages, we are able to carry the voice of customer correctly. And all of this will be useless unless we have an execution excellence, which dovetails into the afternoon session. That's my brief introduction of what I think as India's innovation hub. Over to you.
Now, Mr. Roy, I think he has the privilege of being himself a creative person and also first time innovation for companies before even joining Reliance. 5-6 minutes, and what I'm requesting each of the panel members to give an overview so you get a perspective of when they come up, then we'll take the time to.
Yes, sir. I can see that choice up, so that's very quick. I'll start with a quick. Okay, that's my quick introduction. Because I knew that the slide did not work or whatever, so I thought that's what I'm going to talk about very quickly. 4, 5, 6, whatever, you can stop me. Let me start by asking you, what do you think is the biggest innovation that's happened in the world of telecom? Quick answer, because you've got 15 seconds to answer. Anybody? Yes? Louder please, I can't hear you. Stand up and give the answer. Be brave. Innovation is all about being brave. Come on, quickly. Missed calls, exactly. I think that's the greatest innovation. And why it should be an innovation is something that we deal with as we go along. You can ask me some more questions. Because I think an innovation is not necessarily one that you have to make money, but it's a definite indication to tell you that there is a need, there is somebody who's thinking of finding a solution. So I think this call, coming from the business of telecom where we're supposed to be making money out of people making calls, since we had made incoming calls free, is something which is obviously not good news. But you have to recognize the fact that a missed call is an indication of somebody wanting to make a missed call. Well, ladies and gentlemen, friends, I'm over here for the first time where literally I find there are swords hanging over my head. And yes, this is a unique experience. I've never been in a wonderful place like this. And to talk about innovation over here, I must first recognize the fact that palaces were meant for kings, but today we can come and stay over here. So I think that is great innovation, that you don't sort of think that it's only meant for the royalty. There's a royalty in all of us now that we've stayed in this wonderful palace. Moving forward, I think the reality that we seem to be seeing in India is the fact that there is a Cinderella story in innovations. Because it's all about being the deprived one. It's all about being in a situation where you don't seem to be having a way of making your two ends meet. And perhaps that's the answer why we call it a jugaad. Jugaad is all about finding a solution, and that solution often is looked down upon. But is it really something that you're supposed to be looking down upon? Is it an innovation? Maybe we'll talk about it later. Talking about this, whole thing about having your back against your wall and being in that situation where it's a rags to riches kind of story, I think the question is, are we innovative? Of course we are. That's why I believe that the world recognizes that in terms of the freedom struggle, Gandhi gave a prescription for non-violent, non-cooperation, a peaceful way of bringing about a revolution, and I think that's what has followed all over the world, and people still believe that that's a better solution, because I think all the efforts to bring in violence into freedom struggles haven't really resulted in anything yet. Whether it will, we don't know. If you really look at also the fact that whether small people can come up with great innovation, the Dabbawalas, I think that's something that has been studied all over the world. As I understand, it's not new, it's been around for about 100 years. It delivers 200,000 packages, hot meals, home cooked. Well, yes, it's an answer to the fact that there is a need and it's being met by some people. But the more important thing, this is 120 crore, according to my estimation, 120 crore industry. And it employs a huge number of people. It's a hub and spoke. And I think the learning over here is not about the fact that you delivered something to your customers. It's about the fact, and that I think is the Dabbawala thing, which is that people, if they do their little parts well, a big thing can come out of it. And that is, I think, is the Dabbawala story, which I think you can replicate in any industry. I think innovation is all about listening, hearing, and taking that opportunity. When the world had declared, world by that I mean India, declared one man to be the superstar because he sang the romantic song and he went around the trees. There was somebody who took the opportunity to come as the angry young man. Why? Because the angry young man suddenly made a lot of sense, and there was an opportunity for him. Because he had seen that people were not really concerned about falling in love anymore. It's about getting a job, it's about getting that opportunity, it's about all the corruption that was happening. So therefore there was a slot for the angry young man. So I think innovation is about hearing, observing, and seeing whether there's an opportunity and striking in at the right moment. And that, I think, is how you make that difference. Innovation is not for the faint-hearted. I think innovation is about people who take risks. And I heard that it's about 10% success, which I think is scary. And perhaps that's also the reason why we don't seem to be having or haven't had enough issues, because in India, when you make a mistake, you're told to just shut up and stay in the corner and get sacked. You're thought to be a useless person, whereas in some other place where your glue is not strong enough, you're told you've done a great job, let's keep it, we'll use it, and some years later it comes back as a post-it. So that, I think, is a way of recognizing a failure into making it into a success. Now, when I look at the success and failure, I have to say that the IPL is one man's dream for 10 years, that he actually thought he had a prescription to make cricket something else. It has been talked about, it's been bashed around, but I think at the end of the day, somebody said that if you made cricket into the biggest reality show, and a reality show which had innovation as making it entertainment, there was something that you could do with it, and an industry has been created. And I think the spirit of cricket also has innovation. It has a reverse swing, it has a reverse sweep, it has the dill scoop, it has the helicopter shot. All of that is innovation, because after a point you realize that you're restricted, you can't do any more. So unless you're an innovator and willing to take that risk, to hit it in a way that nobody has hit before, you could go for that massive mistake, but it could also be resulting in the DLF maximum. I believe that this whole thing of jugaad being looked at as something that is not quite innovation is not true, because I think it is the Indian story. It is about the fact that when you don't have anything, you have to create that jugaad. You know, that picture that you saw didn't make much sense to you perhaps, of some watches in a tub. That's a picture of somebody who sells waterproof watches on the streets of Mumbai. Now, to me, I thought that was such a wonderful story, because this man must be living in complete poverty. For him, selling that watch in that unique way is such a powerful statement of how he can actually say that his watches actually are waterproof. Now, I haven't quite seen that happen in the fanciest of malls and other places that I've gone to. And I suspect that that idea could be replicated by a merchandising firm or somebody and made it to look like a wonderful merchandising innovation. And that man also knows that. He knows that he doesn't have the power to actually either patent it or make it such a big innovation that it will be his. But that is the story of India. The story of India is about being pushed back, yet coming with a solution, and being a bit of a Sufi, where you don't hold royalties or anything. You give it out to everybody, let everybody use it. That's the mindset that India is living in.
Yeah.
1 minute?
Yeah.
And finally, therefore, I want to conclude by saying that if that is the state of innovation in India, whereas we have seen the Gandhian way of innovation, we've seen the Dabbawala, we've seen the angry young man coming at the right moment, we've seen the IPL, and we've also seen the Zuzus, which is a wonderful way of doing a cartoon, without animation, which is expensive, which is time consuming in a world where pushback is not really being relevant as far as the advertising world is concerned. You create the Zuzus. So what is it that can make the difference? I think the difference that can be made is understanding that behind innovation there is also the need for you to understand that you have to be financially savvy. To make a jugaad a success, you need to have some way you're going to structure that, because otherwise Dhirubhai Ambani's dream could have also been jugaad. Had he not thought of the financial savviness, the innovation for which Reliance today is considered to be one of the top 25 innovative companies, is not about the R&D, but it's a way it has structured its financial deals and the way it has gone about doing things. And I believe the collaborativity is very relevant at the end of the day, because in a world where digital is meant to be democratizing everything, you as the future generation have with you something which we didn't have. You have the power of the digital media, you have the social media for you, where collaborativity can go viral to reach millions of people across the world and become a phenomenon which earlier was not possible. What does that mean? It means that all that marketing cost, which was meant to be so prohibitive at one point in time, is now going to be something of the past. Today you have with you something that you can use to break into markets and places where you can be the next iPod maker, and you can be coming with ideas which no longer will be called the jugaad. Thank you. We'll come back with more.
I have a strong MNC lead and I have a strong global Indian lead with Mr. Roy. So I already have one interface. I'll come back. May I request Mr. Jain to come over. And he is simply just look at the way they're looking, so questions can be very much focused. Over to Mr. Jain, and leading a large pharma group, healthcare industry, the future of the world. It is in his hands, and he can share briefly how they look at innovation. And again, we'll interlock later on. Over to Mr.
Good afternoon to all of you. Indeed, great to be here today. I recall Professor Janish Shah's opening address where he had been constantly referring that I am the devil in the startup. The more we look at the world today, the innovation will happen from startup, and Pradeep Kashyap, I think, rightly said that access to innovation is shifting in the emerging market, and I will quote a couple of examples. The experience in the healthcare industry and that being part of many of the journeys which Indian sector is doing. I will quote some examples, given the limited time. It is important, and one can say, and I always wish that I am therefore being a startup can be a center of innovation in management education. And that's the wish and that's the ambition which Professor Janan, I could see the passion here. But I recall my early days that I am in Ahmedabad. And it was an early stage, the passion of teachers and passion of students used to be different. So that is going to be different as I am definitely concerned. And India is definitely going to be the innovation hub of the world. When I was coming in the morning and first when I came to the hotel, I asked for the economic times, and I read the first page from fame to flame. And there were the valuations of the company which were given here. Nokia had a peak valuation of $289 billion, and today it is $6.5 billion, 2.2%. What was the valuation during the peak time? Eastman Kodak used to be $31 billion, and now today is zero. So the whole history of Eastman Kodak is over. And we have got Apple, which is $561 billion today. It used to be $5 billion in 2000. And it is the name of the game is innovation. I went back to Prahlad when he used to teach us, and he used to say, and Phil Kotler as well as Peter Drucker, who read the literature, whatever he said, the purpose of business is primarily customer insights and innovation. And if you are good at it, you keep on building the value of business. The moment you lose sight of the customer and you lose sight of innovation, you are old. And that is what happened with Eastman Kodak, and that is what is happening with Nokia. And the Apple success story is primarily innovation and understanding customer insights. We in a small way in Apple have been, over the years, have been adapting ourselves to the changing world, changing realities, and the innovation in healthcare field. And if you look at the valuation of Apple in the last 12 months, it used to be around $70 billion, and the whole world valuation is collapsing. We have increased our valuation from $70 billion to $100 billion. And two big steps which we have done is the point and the model which Pradeep was talking about. One is the product innovation, a lot of work in product innovation, I will talk about it, and a lot of process innovation. And the product innovation is, we are working hell of a lot in biologicals. The future of healthcare is in biologicals. And we have a product Humira, which is $8 billion product, and it stops the degeneration of rheumatoid arthritis. Changing the way the rheumatoid arthritis is treated is going to be the biggest blockbuster. We came with drug-coated stents, which has changed the concept. The way cardiac surgery is done, most of the cases, you just have to go for stents. There is no need for bypass surgery. Right? So we have reduced bypass surgery. And we came with the concept of drug-coated stents. So we are changing the way the surgery is done. We bought Piramal in this country because we said that's the biggest investment by a US company in India. We bought it at 18,000 crores, 10 times the multiple of sales, 30 times the multiple of profits. Everyone in the world laughed at it. But our chief executive said that India is going to be the innovation hub compared to China. We prefer India because Piramal offers tremendous kind of value, and India is going to be the center of innovation. India is going to be the center of innovation because the facts are very clear, provided we play the game right. We have to play the game right. We have got demographic of this country, 25 years of age. Naturally, we don't have fast package, the things cannot be done. And the classic, if all of us know Nano, the average age of managers working on Nano is 26 years. So the more you carry the fast package, you can't innovate. But the greatest advantage of India is we have a young population. All at time that will play a very important role. If I look at when I passed out, and Deepak is here, there were very few who used to start their own companies in innovation. But today we see 10% of the class they want to innovate, are coming out with a new kind of company. And the great future, as Pradeep also said, that we have to create innovation and entrepreneurship in the country. That's the good part. Demographics is the good part. Past baggage is not there. And by nature, we are, I will say, we are in the state of Rajasthan, which has given a lot of entrepreneurs to the world. When they go out, Mittal, when they go out, Agarwal, when he go out, he innovates. And all over, if I see Fiverr and Abbott, if I go to the US office, everywhere you find Indians, they are doing a great job. But somehow, when they are there in our country, they are not able to do a great job. So lesson for us is, yes, we are basically an innovative country. Yes, we have got innovation at our heart, but now we have to move forward. And yes, the world recognizes it. Because if I look at, I remember when 20 years back, when I used to call PMJ team, British Medical Journal team in India, they used to give us a lot of lectures on cardio, how can it be done. And last year when I called up Hart, who is the editor of PMJ Journal, and Dr. Devi Sethi, Dr. Charan, Dr. Matthew, they were sitting in the audience. They said that I can't give lecture to all of them. Because the kind of work which we are doing in this country, it is they who are to learn from us. So there is fundamental change which is happening in this country. Important thing, if we have to change, we have to get away from fear of failure. That's the biggest fear we operate with. We operate with tremendous hierarchical society right from childhood. So the curiosity levels are subdued. We have to work on it. And more important, from healthcare point of view, there has to be intellectual property right protection. Because from a personal point of view, it's very, very important that unless we respect innovation, we can't encourage innovation. Now that is as far as future is concerned. I will give some examples of innovation and I will try to broaden it. Only 1 minute. So I will say in the healthcare field, we are today the pharmacy of the world. Every third tablet which is sold in the US is from India. That's a great thing which is being done. A lot of companies, Grammars, Dr. Reddy's, we will get some drugs from India. Anti-malaria drugs were launched by Dr. Alexi. And what we are saying, the drug which can be discovered for $1 billion can be discovered in $100 billion by Dr. Swati Piramal, with whom I work very closely, she's very passionate. And she will say that within 2 to 3 years time, you'll see a lot of innovation taking place. There are a lot of work which Abbott is doing, right from packaging. We got the best packaging award in the world 3 months back. We have developed a packaging innovation of, like say, there is a problem of